Good evening. This is the caucus meeting for July 9th, 2025, council chambers. Presiding officer of the council, Milady Tejeda, wishes to advise the audience the notice of this meeting has been filed with the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and posted in the bulletin board in the city clerk's office and on the city's website, indicating that today's meeting is being held in the council chambers, City Hall, 260 High Street at 5:30 p.m. Right now it's 5:45 almost. We had a little delay on something. The council meeting will follow the caucus and closed session. Council President Tejeda, as a courtesy of the governing body, I will ask all individuals present, including members of the audience, to please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices. Should you need to make a telephone call, please go out into the hallway and speak in a low voice so as not to disturb the ongoing meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Present.
Councilwoman Morales?
Present.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Present.
Councilman Puccio? Present. Council President Tejeda?
Present. Okay, we have a presentation from Square Foot LLC, Perth Amboy Downtown Business Market Analysis. Please come forward. Good evening.
Can you hear me, or do I need mic?
You need the mic.
My name is Marta Villa. I'm with CBRE. This is my associate, Hillary Michelle from Squarefoot. It's a pleasure to see everybody. Let's see. So, historically, well, first of all, I'm a real estate broker with the world's largest real estate company, and our assignment here for the UEZ and for the city of Perth Amboy was to evaluate the use mix in the business areas with the goal of eliminating redundancy. We have a lot of the same uses. And so we're going to walk you through kind of the effort that was made, our monthly meetings with Tashi and Noelia and Yolanda from the BIC. And we put together a short PowerPoint. You all have the much larger report, some 80 pages, but this is only a 20-slide presentation just to respect your time. We can certainly answer any questions as we go through it. As a point of reference, I've done many transactions in Perth Amboy. I actually did the Wawa lease for Mario and Jack way back when at the corner of Smith and Convery, which unfortunately didn't get built, but we might get another shot someday, we don't know. I was also representing Viridian back in the day when Tate Voss was alive on the Celotex site, and we were looking at putting together a retail mix of uses in the front there way back when again. You know, and things change, so I've been around for quite a while. I have sold the Amoco building on New Brunswick. I leased the 7-Eleven on Smith Street, and I've done some BOVs for some local owners. So I do have some experience in the town, so it's not like I'm just showing up for the very first time in Perth Amboy. Secondly, you should know that I used to be a municipal administrator in Red Bank, and so I've been on your side of the table, so I understand local economic development very well. Did that for 17 years before I got into real estate, because once I had kids, then I couldn't do night meetings anymore. So that was So anyway, that's just a little bit of background, and now we can go to PowerPoint. Sound good?
Sure.
I can't see it, so I'm going to follow along here. That's okay with you all?
That's fine.
Okay,
Just
great.
get the mic close to you because
Sure. You can prompt me if you want me to cover it.
can she just? Thank you.
Hello, hello. All right, so as we mentioned, the purpose of the project was multifaceted, really to improve economic vitality and diversification of businesses. That is it in a nutshell. You will see when we review the lineup of businesses, we went literally door to door, wrote down every business in the study areas, and so we've aggregated those uses. Hillary will cover that in a few slides. We also reviewed the zoning to see if there was any potential modifications that may make Perth Amboy more marketable from a commercial real estate perspective with current use trends. So, for example, had a call yesterday, and health and wellness uses are among the 48% of uses that are expanding nationally. So in shopping centers and malls and other retail environments, we have to be thinking that's what the future is. So a lot of boutique fitnesses, athletic apparel, athleta, beyond yoga, those sorts of uses, right? So that's one thing. The other thing we talked about is specific opportunities in these zones based on market opportunity, change of hands, change of generational ownership, with the real estate, maybe new owner, or tenant moves out all of a sudden and we're left with a diner site or, a bakery. So these opportunities create, timely things for us to capitalize on. And then the other thing we focused on was really the physical plant of the street, not the street itself, but the storefronts and the signs and the interiors of the stores. The business mix and study areas. There are basically 3 zones that we did the door-to-door business analysis. Smith Street in its entirety, really from High Street all the way to Route 35 Convery Boulevard. So we broke that into 2 sections, and the only reason I say that is because the train station does act as a physical barrier, even though it's one spine of a retail street. We did kind of treat it in 2 separate sections because they function just a teensy bit differently, right? Lower Smith is really walkable, right? It's very pedestrian oriented, and the storefronts and buildings are all of mixed use. The scale is very consistent. Then when you get to the 7-Eleven or the train station and you go the other way, it has a tiny bit of a different change. The zoning does change too, C1, C2. And so there are some more freestanding sites, some more light industrial, plumbing supply, kitchen cabinet, flooring, those sorts of things. And then the other 2 sections was New Brunswick Avenue, from Smith to Fayette, and Convery from High to New Brunswick. So kind of a big triangle. There were a few things that were done. We reviewed all the demographics, and CBRE, who I work for, we have a tremendous vault of information. We can obtain, radius demographics, and by that I say we pick a radius, we go out 1 mile, we go out 3 miles, we go out 5 miles. And the reason we do this is because a lot of national tenants really look at the quantitative data when they make their decisions, right? So that's one of the key decision-making pieces of information that we can provide to any investor or retailer to come to a community. So we're going to walk through those demographics. I'll keep it brief, I promise.
That's okay.
The other thing we looked at was drive time analytics. How long does it take to drive 10 minutes from here? And who's in that polygon within 10 minutes of Perth Amboy? Same thing, 15 and 20 minutes. And then we also reviewed cell phone data and Placer AI data. And so I have the ability to put in a request to some magic department in another part of the country. They're able to pull cell phone data from, we did it actually from 2 banks in town, and we also pulled it from 255 Smith Street. So it's very interesting to see what we learned. We also did what's called a void analysis, and we generated a report within 5 miles of Perth Amboy of types of businesses that are either not represented or are underrepresented. So they might have 1 or 2 in the category, but there are 8 other ones that we may wish to consider to expand that representation of business mix. So that's called a void analysis, and we're going to talk about the results of that. And then we talk about a few tactics, that we can do to move forward, and we'll get right into it. So everybody knows Perth Amboy, right? You know your community better than we do, so I don't think we have to harp on this, but the numbers that I'm telling you, 1 and 3 miles. 3 miles is a big factor for a lot of retailers when they make a decision. They want to see a minimum of 60,000 people in a 3-mile radius. So we have 80, so we're good, right? Or we actually have 108. And so we qualify for a lot of tenants from that perspective. Then you go to households, the average household income. Our household income is actually quite high. Median is somewhat more normalized. It's usually slightly less than that, but still it's a very strong number. Median age, 35.8 years old. And our daytime population in 3 miles is almost 100,000. So that's a lot. Like, to support urgent cares, to support grocery stores, pharmacies, Dunkin' Donuts. When you see multiples of these sorts of uses within a community, it's because we have 10,000 people to support each one of those, right? This map, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but there's 2 oddly shaped areas. The first area is a 10-minute drive time to Perth Amboy, and the light green one, if you can see that, is a 15-minute drive time. And so it's important to see that because I'll just use Chick-fil-A for an example. Chick-fil-A has a location in Woodbridge, right? They call it the Perth Amboy location. It's not Perth Amboy, but we might consider inviting them here, right? And so, like, if they understood that you can't get there in a 15-minute drive time in a busy time of day, that gives us the arsenal to make a site that we might have more attractive to them. So that's why we use these things. It's all about talking to the tenants and how they can get from one of their other stores to another location. The Placer AI summary, again, we use the 255 Smith Street, and the reason we use that address is because in talking with the subcommittee of Tashi, Noelia, and Yolanda, train station, part of the downtown area, so just use that as kind of our focal point when we took all of these measurements. Interesting, 100,000 people visit the store 2.5 times a year. They spend less than 10 minutes, not surprising, it's 7-Eleven, right? And if you look at the report, you'll see the makeup of the customer that's going there. It's so interesting, and it's a little creepy that we can pull this information from cell phones, right? Okay. I'm gonna turn the mic over to Hillary. She's gonna run through the study areas and the business makeup.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. As Marta had explained, we broke down Smith Street into the two sections. So you have upper and lower. Now, there were 223 complete businesses from Convery to High Street. For the first half, we are considering it as upper Smith Street. So that has 91 local and 10 regional/national businesses. One of the nice things about that area is the orientation to 35 for the redevelopment. Then you have Lower Smith Street, starting from Elm to High. That had also 91 local businesses, but 31 national/regional. Its orientation to the train station and the waterfront and retailers that covered that, as Marta has explained with the way the layout of the street is. It's conducive to the local businesses and very minimal non-occupancy. Then you have New Brunswick Avenue. Now, interestingly enough, as a side note, during the canvassing, when we were doing the database of the businesses along Smith Street, we did the offshoot of New Brunswick up to, we went to Fayette. I apologize. And there are 19 businesses there. There are no repetitive businesses along there. There are 19, one regional, national, and 18 local. And the only duplication are the 2 laundromats on that street. And then leading up to Area 4 was Convery, which is just super great for the commercial zoning there and the strong traffic count. You have over almost 22,000 vehicles a day traveling that road. On yours, sorry. This is where we get super interesting. The pie. Are you on the pie chart? There. Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, these are the top 5 businesses from the entire stretch of Smith Street. Of that, there are 110 businesses total that make up almost 49.3% of the types of businesses. So 41 are either hair salon, nail salon, spas, or health and beauty stores.
What a surprise.
That's 20%. Then you have the next prominent use is 31 quick serve or fast casual sort of restaurants. And the remainder of the approximately 15% is made up of cell phone, medical, and general merchandise. So again, that brings the top 5 uses on the street to 49.3%. There's a lot of opportunity take into consideration to with the demographics and everything else to move on and come up with some new uses. And that's what Marta will get into now with the categories.
Just as a point of reference, like when we lease a shopping center or an enclosed regional mall, we actually have a formula for how much food and food types of businesses, quick serve restaurants, fast casual restaurants, and sit-down restaurants, and specialty food that make up the overall project. Normally, it's somewhere in the 40% range just for food in a shopping center environment. So it's interesting when you see that number of percent, it actually says that we have more room for food, if you could believe it, right? So retail gaps identified. This is really based on two things. One is observationally what's missing from the street in our discussions with our monthly meetings with the committee. The second thing is we ran a void analysis, right? It's a service that we can provide, and CBRE ran the void analysis. It's an exhibit. The city clerk has it. The UEZ has a copy of it. It's 125 pages. It really goes through every potential use: automotive, hotel, senior living, automotive parts, pet supply, you name it, and it lists all the national tenants that are represented within 5 miles and those that are not. So it gives somebody a roadmap to go out and solicit new businesses to come to Perth Amboy. Are you on the slide that says retail gaps identified?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you're all probably scanning this, the types of businesses that are there. Co-working and commissary kitchen was something that we talked about because ghost kitchens is certainly a trend right now. Co-working is also a trend. We don't have any co-working space downtown Perth Amboy. I do a lot in other urban markets throughout New Jersey, and there's at least 3 or 4 co-working spaces in downtown Newark, and believe it or not, very popular. So that's an idea, and we've looked at some second floor space around town to consider for that use. We talked about food, so I don't think we have to harp on that. Medical, dental, optometry, and physical therapy. You do have several urgent cares, so we didn't list urgent care as one, but primary care, dental uses, orthodontists, veterinary uses. I cannot tell you how many of these I've seen in the last 3 years trying to expand into shopping center and prime retail stores. We call it medtail. So medical has gone from something what landlords didn't want in the front of their business to something that they do want. And the reason that they like it is because typically medical businesses are very secure tenants, right? They collect insurance, they have a good cash flow, and they're stable. So the view on medical has changed over the last 5 years. Recreation. So recreation comes in different sizes. An escape room might be 4,000 square feet. Pickleball is 30,000 square feet. Launch trampoline is going to be another 30,000 square feet. Hatchet throwing is going to be 8,000 to 12,000 square feet. So there's different levels of recreation and entertainment users. And that size is also going to be specific to what area we could place them, because they're not going to fit in Lower Smith Street necessarily. But if when the city does the redevelopment of the 9 acres on the corner, potentially you could have one of the uses there because you have enough space for it. Okay? Any questions on the void uses that are missing from the committee? Okay.
Actually, I do. Could you give an example of what co-working?
Co-working, you've probably heard the term WeWork or Regis. Regis, like you go in and rent a desk for a day, for a month, for a year. You don't want to take a full-time lease because you're just starting your business, but you do want to have a professional location. So that person has a receptionist and a copy machine, which you could use, but you don't need to sign a lease yourself. It's much more flexible, right? So you can go
So you're
rent
just renting out a space?
Just renting out a space, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's really ideal for small business owners and for remote workers, because everyone's gone so much more remote, but they don't want to work in their house necessarily, or if they're a renter and they only live in a small apartment, they don't really have an office, right? And if they have a baby or a dog or a spouse or a roommate, they might need some separation from that. So co-working has really become an alternative to commuting. So it's not just remote, co-working is another alternative to that. And the other thing is it provides a sole business owner a community, right? Instead of working alone, even though it's not the person working with you in your business, you're not alone all the time, which to some people,
At least there's somebody else there.
yeah.
Would that include combining, or does it have, because I just learned something recently, that you cannot combine businesses together in one room, let's say, in one particular tenant. Does that include like having different type of businesses? Like, let's say, having a medical and maybe something else that is different from medical in the
So what
same
I've seen-
same room.
Yeah, I can only really share with you what I've observed, right? So what I've seen, a couple things. there's something called salon suites.
Uh-huh.
And that's like where Sola Salon or JC Salon or Phoenix Salon Suites, they rent a large space, 10,000 square feet, and they rent out rooms. Eyebrow,
Oh, but it's only
threading,
for the same type
nail
of,
salon, barber.
it's the same type of,
massage. It's all beauty related. kind of,
Okay.
All right. In an office WeWork or an office co-working situation, you might have a consultant, an event manager, a logistics person,
okay,
I don't know,
okay,
accountant.
I see.
You're not gonna be running like
Yeah.
a doctor's office out of there. It's not that
Yes,
kind of shared
yes,
space.
okay.
I haven't
It
seen
has
the
to
medical
kind
one
of,
yet. I
it,
haven't seen
it
the
has to
medical
be something related, more or
one.
less.
Yeah, normally,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
normally. Good question. And we talk a little bit more about this when we get to the zoning recommendations, but, I remember years ago, if you guys were around, when we looked at the 9 acres, we kept talking about maker spaces. Maker spaces is more of a crafty version of WeWork or co-working space. That would include things like embroidery, imprinting, like team wear, like sports team shirts, schools, things like that. Okay. So there's specific sites in each of these areas that, I'm on the next slide, by the way, that we've considered. So I'm not gonna harp on them because I think it would just get to be too long and I'm sure you guys are busy, but, the intersection of Convery and Smith is obviously super important. Why? It's the gateway to your town. It's 35,000 cars a day. It's all those things, right? You're coming in from all the other communities, and it's in many times the first thing that they're going to see when they come here. There's a few things to note from our perspective in developing those corners. One is the 9 acres that the city has, we would not probably be allowed to have an ingress off of Route 35 because of the topography change coming down the hill, and also when we actually get to the flat, you don't have 200 feet till you hit the light. So you wouldn't be permitted to have a driveway. So your ingress is going to be from Smith Street, right? Same thing across the street. Canoco has the same limitation because their site is very narrow or shallow, really, when you come from the light as you're going up to the second property. So that their ingress is also going to be along Smith Street. So in a retailer's mind, they're counting the traffic only on Smith and not on Convery, which is a bummer because this is the 30,000, this is like 16,000, right? So it's much smaller. So that will hurt us unless we can figure that out. We might need to get the second guy. I don't know. So that's just the thing. And I did talk to you already about larger type tenants being able to come to the city. We don't have a lot of large tracts of land. That 9 acres is one of the few that you do have. And so if you want recreation or something like that, that's the spot for it, obviously. Okay. We talked about Canoco, the super car wash. It's already happening, right? Mario's been before the board, I'm sure. Looks like he's finally getting his act together up, putting the car wash on Mara Street. That's going to leave a pad site on the corner. We'll have to go back out to market for that. So that takes care of those 3 corners. The other 2 properties to focus on in that zone are Sippo's and the diner, right? So, and the diner is, when we've talked about it in our committee meetings, is it just the diner or is it the garage next door too? Because it's really a bigger site potentially than just the diner. So thinking a little bit bigger. So this is a perfect opportunity for the committee to meet with those 2 property owners and say, hey guys, should we get together and try to figure something out here, right? So that's the opportunistic stuff that I was talking about in the intro, like when things change or businesses change, it's the time to do something. So that takes care of that area. The train station area has 2 opportunities also. So the train station redevelopment is already happening. I'm not going to opine on that because it's all good. But there are 2 properties that recently changed hands. So Blink moved out, right? And so that vacancy is pretty large. Also, Family Dollar vacated their premises, even though technically they're still in leasehold. They're still paying rent. But that's the first and second floor. So you could potentially put 23,000 square feet together at Blink, which is 136 Smith Street. And then the other one that just recently changed hands is the 210 Smith Street, which is a Santander Bank. So that closed 3 weeks ago. And the committee has invited both those owners to come in and have a chit chat in the coming weeks with Tasha Noelia and Yolanda. So see if we can try and capitalize on those opportunities. And then Rite Aid, right, with the bankruptcy. So that's 11,000 feet at the other end of Smith, adjacent to the senior housing. And so that's kind of big, right? So what's 10,000, 11,000 square feet, other than dollar stores, which, nationally, Dollar Tree took a bunch of Rite Aids and Walgreens and CVS's. So we've got every dollar store right here, so we don't really need them to take that too. Childcare actually is that size. Boutique fitness could potentially be that size. A specialty store could potentially be that size. There are some other uses, but it does have a drive-through too, which we don't have a lot of. So keep an open mind. All right. Then we went to Convery. We talked about that main intersection, but I think the only couple things to mention is that there's a site down by Cam and Carlson Avenue, which is just a land site that caught our eye and looked like a pretty sizable site, like about 3/4 of an acre. So it's to the northern section of Convery Boulevard. Taco Bell's already moving. The ShopRite got its pad sites. So that strip is kind of happening already. And then New Brunswick Avenue, as I told the committee, every time I toured with a national tenant, they look at that Rodriguez tire and they love it. They love that property because it just shows so well. And I said, you can look, but you cannot touch.
Yes.
All right, so moving on. Where are we, guys? Oh, yeah. So in the report, one of the tasks the committee asked us to do was to actually come up with some end users or tenants to fill the uses that we've identified. So we put 3 pages of those together as samples. It's not all inclusive, but it is samples. The void analysis that we provided to the city clerk and UZ, that's pretty exhaustive, that list. But this is more representative, and it just gives you an idea of some of the tenants that could go. Next slide.
Zone recommendation.
Okay, Zoni, you go to the next
So
slide.
the next.
Yeah. So the meat of it really is Smith Street has been functioning as a daily needs center for the most part, and has prohibited uses. We'd like to see some relaxing, some more food coming in. I told you the reason why, to increase the percentage of that. We also we could support some national tenants in that realm, and so we'd like to see something there. We'd also like to see fitness come in as an allowable use. We'd like to see some of the medtail uses be a permitted use. We'd like to see the co-working, the uses that are on the void to be weaved into the current zoning, really. Now, how do you get fast food to come to a street store, right? Because they do or don't have a drive-through. They have urban locations, believe it or not. So have you ever been to Ferry Street in Newark? So you've seen the McDonald's that's there, the same McDonald's that's in Hoboken with no drive-through. Chick-fil-A that's in Englewood with no drive-through. Shocking. Here they probably want a drive-through, but we can sometimes win and with a street store. We added some new personal service uses such as med spa, waxing, lash, tattoo, and salon suites. We talked about that earlier. Permitting more fitness. Fitness is not all large scale anymore. There's a lot of Pilates, spin, rowing, high intensity HIIT. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So I know we have a big Y, but there's probably still more room with the population that we have for some additional fitness users. We talked about the co-working already. I don't know if you have any questions here. I added senior living. That might be something that we may want to add to as a consideration. But if you have any questions, we could certainly answer those, or we can keep going. So kind of the wrap-up of this is like, all right, we've looked at all this information. You examined the demographics, the voids, the potential end users. How do we, what do we do with this information? Where do we go from here? So there's basically 3 things, right? First thing is education, not only to the retailers, but to the landlords. And I'll give some specific examples of that in the next slide. The second thing is internal and external marketing. The internal marketing, why do we have to market to the people that are already here? Well, we do because we want to be unified in our approach to attracting new people to the town, right? New investors. And so having run improvement districts myself, like in Red Bank, we used to have meetings called retailer meetings, do them at different times of the day to see who could come in the morning, who could come in the evening. Not everybody can come in the morning. Not everybody can come in the evening. Everybody has a different life. So we would vary that to try to appeal to the most of the end users that we could. And we could talk about that. And then the third thing was the physical improvement. And you guys only have 2% vacancy. The state average is 5%. You have a more successful and vibrant business area than on average throughout New Jersey, right? So yay, but we'd like to see some investment, financial investment into some of the storefronts and into some of the interior locations. And part of that really comes through education and perhaps enticing them into doing what you guys would like to do. So on the next slide talks about the education. These are the topics for the potential meetings with the retailers and landlords. Deal making, lease negotiation, and site selection, or deal sourcing, right? Many tenants sign leases, they don't necessarily know what all the clauses mean, right? They should have representation like a lawyer, but if they want to ask questions or they don't know what to ask for, like option, they have a 5-year lease, all of a sudden the lease is over, what do? They have to move out, or can they negotiate an extension? So that would help local business owners. Second thing is startup and capitalization. Sometimes people think they can just start, but they don't really have everything that they need to get started. Omni-channel, electronic marketing and sales, in-store layout and circulation, social media, AI, and geofencing. Guys know what geofencing is? It's like push technology to your cell phones and kind of gets you to go somewhere. Cross-selling with each other throughout town, on the street, and throughout the different neighborhoods in town. And then advertising, where to spend your dollars. On the marketing, 2 categories, internal and external. We talked about that, those that are here, those that we want here, including print and electronic media, like social media. Running 3 types of events. I call it the map maker events, which are the very large ones, like Grucci fireworks. Then there's the B2B type events, which is like business attraction, bringing brokers in, or running a promotion in a special area, like let's call it a bridal show, and we want to attract bridal salons or florists or other businesses that are maybe underrepresented, try to build the attraction through that. Next slide. This speaks to the physical plant. There's 3 grants that we're recommending. One is called the Tenant Fit Up Grant. The interior of the spaces, if a tenant is an individual or independent store, they've never built out a storefront before, it could be very daunting and very expensive for them to have to fit out, put in a bathroom, white box of space. If we could teach them what to ask for and advise the landlords that we would like to see them deliver it with air conditioning, a bathroom, basic things to meet code, that might be a good fit. The second thing we'd like to recommend is a sign and facade grant. It's a smaller grant, like $5,000 per storefront on a matching basis, so the landlord or business owner would have skin in the game. And then the third thing would be a little bit of a larger grant called storefront and facade, to focus on like whole building looks, right? Paint, lighting, storefront, glazing, awning, the whole shebang. So when the buildings are vacant, for example, it would be an opportunity to go there, try to get the owner to spend some money, maybe induce them by contributing some dollars, and then getting a bigger result, right? So you really hit the street that way. Do you want to do this one? Nope. Okay. Can't see it. Next slide. So we've talked about what steps to take. It's going to come down, of course, to funding those ideas. You do have some organizations locally that have money to put towards these things. Just because we've recommended a dollar amount doesn't mean that that's what you have to adopt, right? You could vary that meets your budget. The zoning amendments would be a great discussion. That doesn't cost money necessarily, other than writing the resolutions. The retailer education, sounds like we have somebody that could spearhead that with the BIC. And the property marketing, bringing in the commercial real estate community to try to assist their owners, their clients, or expand their client roster to help them market their spaces to other tenants. So I'm happy to receive any questions or comments, do my best to answer.
Anybody?
Tashi, Noella, do you want me to add anything? You good? Okay.
Anybody has a question?
I'm good.
No,
Okay.
that was very well
I-
presented, thank you.
I think it was a great job, and it was a very extensive thing that you did to come up with this. I think it kind of opens the eyes of what we should look for and what to expect in the area, because sometimes we just don't even know how to get it all together to bring what is necessary for the town. And I know UEZ and I'm part of the BIC, so I've seen the things that they're doing just to attract new businesses in town and to make it look the way we want our town to look, and to attract other communities to come and visit and also eat and enjoy, invest in our town. Thank you very much.
I have two last comments. One is there's an organization called International Council of Shopping Centers. It's a very, very large retail real estate convention. It happens twice a year. In New York, it's in December. And so most of the brokers, owners, and retailers that conduct business in the New York metropolitan area go to this show. And that would be it's an invitation. CBRE has a booth. They invite, the BIC to have a booth, to be there, just to walk around and learn how that interaction goes, because that's really where you meet the people who are making decisions or steering their retail tenants to go to this road or that road. So that's where that happens. And the second thing is, I just want to compliment the committee, because what a great group to work with. I mean, you are.
I know. They're doing a
You
lot
have
of things
you have
that
some really good
behind the
people,
scene
and
that,
you don't see it everywhere, so I have to put a plug in for them.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's still on.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ordinance, public hearing, 5 minutes maximum per speaker per ordinance. Number one, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled Fire Prevention Ordinance Number 1576-2011 as amended, adopted September 14, 2011, also known as Chapter 227C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy. Agenda, public comment. Citizen may address the council on any matter of the agenda which does not have its own scheduled public hearing. Citizen shall be permitted to speak once for a maximum of 5 minutes. Bids. Bids were received on April 22nd, 2025 for the following: Veterans Memorial Youth League Complex Field House renovations. Macaulay Construction Company got the bid for $3,344,640. Bids were received on April 22nd, 2025 for the following: Veterans Memorial Youth League Complex improvements. A, grade construction, base bid, $6,132,090 with 35 cents. Alt 1, $1,003,074,917. Alt 2, $125,219 with 28 cents, for the total of $7,632,226 with 63 cents. B, Flanagan's Contracting Group, Inc., base bid, $7,515,656.25. Alt 1, $1,291,329. Alt 2, $93,240. Total of $8,920,225.25. Land Tech Construction LLC, base bid, $8,464,355.50. Alt 1, $1,274,585. Alt 2, $100,682.50. Total of $9,839,623. Furino and Sons, Inc., base bid, $6,992,735. Alt 1, $1,274,750. Alt 2, $90,000. A total of $8,357,485. Torco Golf, Inc., base bid, $6,168,045.17. Alt 1, $1,287,143. Alt 2, $40,945.71, and a total of $7,496,133.88. Applied Landscape Technologies, base bid, $8,711,713.83. Alt 1, $1,395,229. Alt 2, $114,370, and a total of $10,221,312.83. The recommended bid was Turco Golf, Inc. Reports. Jill A. Goldie, CFO Controller, submitted the following: investment report for the month of May 2025, revenue and appropriation status report as of May 2025, current fund, water, waste, water utility, parking utility, harborside marina utility. Ordinance, first reading, no public discussion. An ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy to amend an ordinance designating restricted parking spaces for use by handicapped persons. Ordinance number 380-85, an amendment adopted July 2nd, 1985, also known as Chapter 255C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy, and this is about additions and deletions. Number 2, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend an ordinance entitled Records, ordinance number 621-93, adopted August 4, 1992, also known as Chapter 425C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy. Number 3, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend an ordinance entitled Storm Water Management, ordinance number 1970-2021, adopted April 28, 2021, also known as Chapter 384C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy. And this is about storm water control for non-major developments.
Council President, I just have 2 questions for ordinance 2 and 3, if that's okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so for ordinance 2, my question for the ordinance on records from Mr. Opal is, how is it now? What's the protocol now for Sundays? Because I did see that that was the main addition.
It's silent. that addition, the underlying language is being proposed to be added to the ordinance.
I know, but what's the protocol now? How is it done?
Logistically, I'd ask
So
the chief.
They
they're
have to wait.
closed, the towing companies are closed
Okay,
on
okay.
Sundays.
All right, yeah.
So then adding this would require 24/7,
No, well, 12
well,
a.m. to 5
7
p.m.
days a week.
On Sundays and holidays, yes.
Got it, thank you.
Only for the one that is on the rotation,
Yes,
no?
yes, yes. That's
But
correct.
why now? Why are we opening up the ordinance and inserting this in now?
Right.
My question is, and this is based on experience, I guess, in the past, when the on-call wrecker is on, right? If the on-call wrecker has to come in to release a vehicle while he's on call, normally that's done. So I don't understand why we would force the on-call record to be working from 12 to 12,
No, I think that's more. 12 to 5, according to how it's written here.
12 to 5.
That's 17 hours. That's a long day.
I mean, my question to that is, have we had any input from the wreckers on this before we actually enact this change? Because it's a change to the existing contract, I would assume. And, we're asking them to do this. Now, has there been any upswing in that when whoever the on-call wrecker is on a Sunday, that the cars are not getting released on Sunday? I mean, is there been a problem that is precipitating this move?
Can we have
Is
someone
it-
come up?
Maybe the chief
Isn't
address
usually
this.
like they put it to pick up on Monday? Is that what it is?
Right, because they're closed on Sundays.
Uh-huh. But that will be charging the residents an extra day.
Correct.
That's the way I look at it.
My understanding, the way this works, and again, talking from experience, and I can't just single out one tow company. Let's just say the rule, or that the tow companies are usually very compliant with, for instance, if a car gets towed, when you're towing a car between 12 and 5 in the morning, normally it's because it's either involved in a crime, it's either been in a car accident, or somebody got locked up for drunk driving, or somebody was arrested and their car was taken. So we're not going to be releasing the car right away in those circumstances. Now, if during the day, right, somebody gets their car towed because they were blocking a driveway or a fire hydrant, or for that reason, normally, and the rule of thumb would be, and with the tow companies, they tow a car at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, and the people can get their car back, they go to get the release. It's been my experience that the tow companies come in and they comply. Now, unless we can give specific examples where this is not the exception, right away, we're putting an undue burden on the business owner by having to employ somebody by coming in. Normally, I don't know how the tow guys work it and how they pay their guys when they're on call on a Sunday, but normally they probably take their trucks home. When they get called, they come in and they take the car. Or in some cases, they may have their guys sitting around waiting for the phone to ring to come in. I'm just asking, have we, we're making a major change to this, and I haven't heard from any of have we talked to the operators? There's 11 of them. I mean, I get this whole thing about worrying about the citizens. I get it. But the other rule of thumb is, normally when somebody's getting their car towed, it's for all the reasons I just listed before. And normally, nobody just gets their car towed just for their car being towed. So obviously, there's either an infraction, an accident, somebody was arrested. So, at the end of the day, My experience is that the tow truck guys are people, the tow truck companies are very cooperative on Sundays.
Has anything come up to the administration because people have not complied with coming in on Sunday and release the car?
So yes, everything that the councilman
Get,
said,
get close to the,
yes, so everything that the councilman said is pretty accurate. There has been some incident that has been brought to my attention. So let's just say, for example, if, someone's vehicle gets towed on a Saturday for whatever the infraction is, they're now, from my understanding, they've been made to wait until Monday. There's no exception being made for them to be able to pick their vehicle up on a Sunday. So that's, from my understanding, that is the purpose of amending the ordinance, so that regardless of what reason the vehicle was towed for, whether it was, a Friday evening or a Saturday evening, that the resident has an opportunity to come pick their vehicle up on a Sunday, given the time frame. I think a reasonable time frame for them to be able to pick it up on a Sunday, rather than having to wait an additional day and be charged an additional day storage fee for it being there another day.
No, go ahead.
Well, let me just, I'll lose my train of thought. Thank you for that, because now I have a little better understanding. Then maybe we could compromise. That I think it's incumbent on the tow truck companies in good faith now, and good business practices as far as somebody gets their car towed on Saturday, right? Now, they need their car to go to work, and it was towed for other reasons other than drunk driving. Because drunk driving, you just can't get your car back.
Correct.
Right away. So I think that if the company that tows on Saturday, they tow the car. Now the car's there. Now the owner shows up at police headquarters on Sunday and says, listen, I really need my car. Can you call the tow truck company to come in and release my car? I don't see why the tow truck company can't come in on a Sunday without enacting it into the ordinance to say they have to come in. I mean, that they have to work on a Sunday. Because my point to that is, I thought originally, the way I thought it was working is that if they were on call on Sunday, that they would have to be available. See, now the way you explained it, Mr. Akila, it makes sense what you're saying. So I understand what you're saying. So I think there needs to be some sort of compromise with the wreckers that say, listen, if we get a phone call from an owner, we're more than, just to keep good faith, we'll come in and we'll release the car. I mean, I know there's been times in the past, and I'm not gonna single any company out, but where, they wouldn't come in on a Sunday, and now they charge them storage for a Sunday, and that's where it's unfair to the people.
I have a question. Is it the same tow company that's working on a Saturday will be, because they alternate every Sunday, whoever's on call on Sundays? So not necessarily whoever told the company, the tow company is not going to be the same on Sunday.
Good evening. They're on call for 24-hour period, midnight to midnight is what they're on call from. So-
Right, so if the car gets towed on Saturday, is it let's say tow company A towed the car on Saturday. On Sunday, they take turns every who is going to be. So company B is the one on call on Sunday. So how is that person, if company A is the one that towed the car, they're not working on Sunday because it's only according to the way this reads, that the company that's on call that day is the one required to work the 17 hours.
Yes, if I could just clarify the genesis of this entire thing. It was something that came from the Traffic Safety Bureau as a recommendation because of complaints where the individual tow companies would tow on a Sunday, anytime during a Sunday. I understand what you're saying, Councilman. It used to be that way. It's not anymore. With that that the last time this ordinance was changed, that was taken out. So they no longer have to release vehicles on Sunday. So even if that tow company is on, we'll call it tow company B, that's on, in your scenario, on call from 12 midnight or 12:01 that morning on Sunday, they do not release cars until Monday morning. So if someone were towed for, again, whatever reason that may be, they would not be able to get their car until Monday.
So it's the same, so basically, it doesn't make any sense for them to work the 17 hours, because that's the reason why,
17
Why
I'm sorry, I'm not
17
following
hours?
17
well,
hours.
because according to what it says here, it's from 12 a.m. to 5 p.m.
I'm not sure.
That's what it says on the ordinance.
12 a.m. was what?
Yes.
I think that might be in I think that should be 12 noon to 5 p.m. I'll double check, but I think that's got to be.
I don't think that was ever, certainly not the intent from the lieutenant that wrote it, was for that 17 hours. That's why I wasn't familiar with what you were speaking of.
We can amend that. That's not right. It should be 12 a.m. I think it should be 12.
Yeah, it says 12 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So that
It
was
should
a
be 12
typo.
p.m. to 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., I believe is what they're looking for.
12 p.m. to 5 p.m., so that would be a total of 5 hours.
Yes.
All right, because I was saying 12 a.m. to 5 p.m., that's 17 hours. That's a
I agree
long.
with you. That's why when you're saying 17, I didn't know where that came from. That's the first I'm hearing of that, because I didn't remember ever seeing 12 a.m. at all. But
Right.
it's there, then I believe it's a typo, but I'm not sure who wrote that up, but.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm still maybe not understanding this. So if tow company A is the one that towed the car on Saturday, and B is the one on call and is required to work at 12 to 5, they still can't get their car out.
Depending when time was towed, because according to the ordinance, they do have to keep their place open on Saturday if they're towing that Saturday. The hours I don't have in
Right,
front of
because
me.
That's-
5 hours
that's
on
how it-
Saturday. They're
Right,
required to be
because
open
they're
for 5
required to
hours
work on
Saturday.
Saturdays as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So if they got it towed at, let's say, 11:55 at night on Saturday, correct. They would not be able to retrieve it on Sunday. They would have to retrieve it on Monday. That is correct.
So it still doesn't make sense for me why they're required to work 12 to 5, because that's not going to affect, they're still not going to be able to get their car out.
For somebody that was towed on Saturday, but if
Right.
somebody was towed at 12:01 on Sunday morning, then they
On
would
the
not be
same
able to
day.
get their car until
12
Monday.
o'clock,
I'm sorry.
till 12 o'clock.
Well,
Right, so whoever's on call
proposal,
that
but
day.
right now, they can't at all. I understand what the councilman's saying with respect to making them work 5 hours. And again, however that's handled administratively, whether they are available and that phone call goes to that operator and then they go to the shop and then
Release the
release the
car.
car, what have you. I'm not saying that they necessarily have to be there. They have to release the vehicle is what they have to do. So if somebody comes to do that, then they can do it at that time. So however that's handled business-wise and so forth is completely up to the individual tow companies. The intent from the lieutenant was, based on complaints from the citizens, was that on Sunday, if your vehicle got towed anytime during that time, so basically 1 minute past midnight on Sunday until 5 o'clock on Sunday, you can get your vehicle if it was towed. If you get towed at 5:01 p.m. on Sunday, you're not getting it till the next day on Monday. Similar to Saturday to Monday. So that was the intent that was behind that, how it was written.
Is it 12 a.m. or 12 noon to 5?
12 noon to
12
5, they have to change it.
Right,
on-
but I'm saying if
on
they
here.
got their vehicle towed past midnight, then they would have till 5 p.m. on Sunday to retrieve it, between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. to retrieve that vehicle. But I understand what you said. It used to be that way. They used to come at all hours of the night and so forth. And I know businesses change. Business models change and things change. People used to live at the shops and they don't have that anymore. And it's clearly, I'm cognizant of that and understand that. But,
Well, like Councilman said, what brought this up now? Has there been like a surge of complaints? Like how many complaints has there been that no one's able to get their car on a Sunday?
I believe in the backup, the lieutenant identified a couple of occasions that occurred. Again, I don't have it exactly here in front of me, but I know that was in his backup.
Can we
in
get
his
that
letter.
exact number? I mean, is it within the past 6 months to a year? How many complaints have there been that people are having problems getting their cars out on a Sunday?
If the lieutenant didn't track the exact number of complaints, I mean, there's people that do come to the desk and don't make a formal complaint and so forth, so there will be more than was actually as a formal complaint. I can try to get that numbers from the lieutenant with what he put together if it's not specifically outlined in the email.
I just have one more question.
Go ahead.
Chief, I get the rotation, right? So it's 1 through 11, so it just skip, I mean, not skip, but 10. I always get their numbers a little backwards. So if today King High is on call, tomorrow Bobby O's on call, then I don't know what they are. I'm just throwing out names, okay? So if, let's say, King High's on call, and he calls up and says, listen, my tow truck guy can't work today, it automatically will go to the next one, right?
That's a general rule of thumb. What we normally do is
I mean,
rotate to
but,
next,
I mean,
if they're
is it done
capable of
by-
doing it.
Is it done by, well, my question is it done by ordinance, that it says that that's what you're supposed to do, or is that something that we've just been doing?
It's policy, just what's occurred in past practice of policy as to, it always goes to the
just
next
needed
record on
to-
call. If they were unable to do
I
it,
wasn't sure.
yes.
So, but what I'm saying, by rule of thumb, though, normally, if the person, number one, can't do it and lets headquarters know, they'll just automatically go to number two.
Yeah, generally, if that's the case, the desk would call number 2 record and say, listen, number 1 has a problem, you're gonna be getting a lot of calls today, and everything, to let them know about that. But if it's on immediate notice, he's on his way to a job, hey, my truck just broke, it will be an immediate call to the next one. And then likewise, if that person couldn't handle it because they were on other calls, they didn't have availability, it would go to the next, and then the next, and the next that way.
And, well, let me ask you this. Not all our guys have heavy-duty records. I think All Cars got one, Scott's got one. Does anybody else have?
That's a different rotation. King High, I believe, still
Well,
has
that's what I'm
one.
saying,
Yes.
but is that a rotation too?
Yes, that's different
So
rotation.
like if, they needed a heavy-duty wrecker, whoever the turn it is gets that call.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's not indiscriminate of their light or medium duty. So
Right.
it's not the same day.
No,
If they have a heavy duty today, it may not be the same tomorrow, it may be a different day, but that is different rotation list, yes.
all right. Very, thank you.
And just to clarify, sorry, so if Puccio's company is working on Friday, are you saying that on Saturday, that same company would be open from 12 to 5, just for clarity?
All of the companies by the ordinance would be open from that time, from
Okay.
12 on Saturday, yes.
Okay.
And that's the way it is now.
Correct. Sunday is the only day in question where nobody has business hours, even if they're towing a car. So they could come in with a car and a person could be there, give them my car back, and they could be at the shop. They don't have to release the car because it's not required by
Okay.
ordinance. I apologize.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry. Are you done with the questions?
I had a question, I lost it.
Okay, so being that there is some type of typo in there, and also, instead of putting open from 12 a.m., let's say 12 p.m. to 5, how about being available from 12
The
to
same, they're
5?
already on call, correct? Like, so can
To
they
be
just
available,
Right.
because like the chief says, if they call and say, I want to pick up my car on Sunday, at least they have to answer to that phone call to go there. Not, when we say open, it's like having the place open.
that they're required to be
It's
there
just to
physically
be
from 12 to 5?
available, to be
Operationally,
available.
that's fine with me. I have no problem with that. I think it was just the way the ordinance was written for the days and so forth to make it open. Operationally, as long, based on the complaints that we received, if they need to be available to release the vehicles to them, I think operationally that would be fine. Because we get to the end result of the
I mean,
citizens
I don't
getting their
know
vehicles
how
back.
everybody
Right,
feels
because they're
about
already
that.
on call,
They're
so
already on
it's,
call. It's just that
Yes.
during, between 12 and 5, they would be made available to pick the car up. That somebody to release the car.
I
To have the
propose,
language proper in there.
I would propose maybe noon and 5, we say that, so we definitely can't get it mixed up.
Noon,
Yeah.
right, noon to
Noon.
5.
If that's possible, it's your call, but it's noon, I think would straighten that
It
issue
can
out
be
with
amended.
12 a.m.
We'll amend that language and change it.
okay. So do we need to,
Do we need to also, Chief, if it's possible to get like a list of complaints that had come to your department? On
Absolutely.
those, in those
Right.
sense? I
Absolutely.
mean, if we can have it before the
As
next
soon as,
time?
as soon as it's available, Lieutenant's on vacation this week, but as soon as it's available, I'll send to Mr. Keel to send to the,
When
to
is
the
he
council.
coming back? Is
He'll
he
be back
coming back
Monday.
Monday? Okay.
Madam
So-
President, I have one more thing. One more. And if we I think it also is good, and for the wrecker operators, is that, if, that we follow the list. You know what I mean? Like, if it's, I see with the all cars here, it's all car today, he can't do it. In I'm only picking them two guys because they're sitting here. And so it automatically, the desk will say, all right, we'll call AT and see if he's available for the rest of the day. And, I mean, in all fairness, and this would, just to eliminate any bad blood or any complaints coming from the wreckers.
Absolutely, yes,
I
that's.
mean, I think that's a fair thing.
Yeah, that's it. It's always the next one. It's always, and it goes down the line. If the next one is not available, it goes to the next, to the next. That's what we always felt was the fairest way to do that. You know when you're on call, and many of the tow operators know, hey, I'm on call tomorrow. If something happens with the one who's on today, I'm going to get that call. So I may be a backup to these. We get 5 cars we got to tow at once, and the other company has 1 tow truck. We're clearly going to be calling the next down the line to be able to do that.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
I remember my question now. So now that she said about, asking for a list of complaints, and you said previously that not necessarily he may have noted it down. I mean, I think it should be protocol or part of a procedure that if a complaint comes in, they should note it down so that way
Absolutely. When I
we
say
have
complaint-
record of it, and that way if we ask for it, if this happened only once or has it happened like 25 times? I mean, obviously, if it's constantly happening and there's record of it, then of course we're going to do something about it. But if we don't have record of anybody complaining, then
Oh, absolutely, yeah, those records, there's a formal complaint process, and there's also the person going to the window saying, can I get my car? I can't get it till Monday, oh, this stinks, I need my car, but, so is that a formal written complaint? No, that's a citizen relaying to the desk officer his or her displeasure with not being able to get the vehicle. But the actual formal complaint is what, the lieutenant would be dealing. He wouldn't know that, the lieutenant. The lieutenant would know what he gets informally, is what he would know, the lieutenant in traffic safety.
Well, I'll just add this, and only from, again, going on my own experience of seeing things, how they played out. I haven't been there in a long time, right? And I know what a pain in the neck it used to be when people used to come in. Today, it's not that easy to release a car. Back, it used to be, oh, you got something, we're releasing the car. It's not that simple. And a lot of times what we're hearing is people weren't complying. So right away they want to complain about the tow truck guy. When in essence, it's really, sometimes they don't have the paperwork. Sometimes they try to get the car without going to headquarters first.
Can't do that.
So, at the end of the day, I think just good business in general and good public relations between the police and the wreckers and the city council is that we all should work on the same page.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why that formal process is there. So if someone were to have a legitimate and/or what turns out to be illegitimate complaint, that's why it's done on a form and it gets investigated, and the response, to those particular investigations there. And just similar to IA, exonerated, founded, unfounded, those types of
And
things.
the general public doesn't realize, like, for instance, if their car was towed because of a crime, it doesn't necessarily get released right away.
Absolutely not. Right. It would be on police hold.
And if it was a drunk driver, somebody else has to come and get the car, and I think it's 24 hours.
12.
12. So. All right. Thanks, Chief.
Okay,
thanks, Chief.
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Then my-
You say you had a
Yeah, yeah.
question about number 3?
Yes. My next question is just on number 3, stormwater management. I know there were a lot of additions and deletions, so just a general overview for that,
Okay.
please.
The code currently provides review requirements for what are called major development, what are defined in the code as major developments. It's a long definition, so I won't read the whole thing, but it's basically disturbance of 1 or more acres of land, creation of a 1/4 acre or more of impervious surface, creation of a 1/4 acre or more of regulated motor vehicle surface, or any combination of 2 and 3. And that it also includes phased residential development project, like large-scale phased residential development projects. So the regulations are already in place for those larger scale projects that include ground disturbances that could affect stormwater management. So these proposed regulations do two things. They kind of, they apply to non-major developments, meaning developments, and they delineate between things that wouldn't have to go to the planning board, like as of right building, but it does require some review if there's the installation of impervious surface of more than 200 feet. So not a really small project, but also not meeting the definition of major development. And it allows for just additional controls over that. The city is a Tier A municipality with regard to stormwater regulations, so it's good to go beyond what's required in order to provide for stormwater maintenance. And then the second part of it is when there's a review required for anything over 200 feet but smaller than the major development, it allows or requires the posting of an escrow for the city engineer to review those plans. And that's beneficial to the city because it doesn't come out of the city's coffers when, the engineer is conducting that inspection and review. The applicant will pay for it, and then, if it doesn't go over the escrow amount, then the balance will be returned to them. So, there's both, practical benefits to the city, and then, things that make sure that somebody, specifically the city engineer, is ensuring that the city's following good stormwater maintenance regulations.
Thank you.
You're good?
Yes.
Okay.
Council President, I'm sorry to go back, but regarding the handicap ordinance, I have a question.
Okay.
I was looking at this, the deletions and the additions. One of the addresses there, it's being deleted now, but as I passed by, the sign is not there on 465 Penn Street.
Oh, I think that's the one.
I'm sorry, I could not hear. What was the address?
465 Penn Street.
Okay, and it's a removal and?
It's a deletion. I guess we have to vote on this to be deleted. 339 Neville, the handicap sign is still up, but the 465 Penn Street is not there.
339 Neville was actually removed by the new homeowner, and we went and re-erected it at 339 Neville.
It's still there, yeah.
Yeah, it went back up. We had to put it back up. I'm saying
Right.
it was removed
But
by the homeowner.
465 Penn Street is not there.
365 Penn?
465.
465, okay. Okay, I will look into that. I'm unfamiliar with it. I will look into it.
I have one more question. I was looking at the ordinance today with all the list of addresses that have handicaps. Some of them, I guess, they're still listed as that they have a sign, but they're really not there. And one of them is actually yours. And there's no handicap sign there, but it's still, how often is that updated, that list? Or
talking about the
who's
pole?
responsible?
The pole is there, or the sign is actually there?
No, on the ordinance itself, the actual ordinance online.
Right.
There's a, whole list. So it's listed that there is a handicap supposed to be there, but there isn't one.
Okay. That could be from the time when the records were not digitized. Now that they're digitized and now that they're sent out through this application process, that's going to catch all of that. That's stuff that through the years potentially could have been sent through as removals. They may have not made it to the ordinance, or may have been left off and so forth. And that's what we found, hundreds of those. That situation that were in the ordinance, but were not there. Either the addresses were not there, or the signs were gone over the years. Again, there are times when people remove the signs. That was what we ran into on Neville Street. New people bought the house, they see the sign, oh, this person's not here anymore, and they take it down. We would have no way of knowing. And with the old system, we'd still have no way of knowing for potentially several years afterwards. Now we will. Because at this point, everything's going to be done by computer, and we'll know, and that list will spit out to us and say, here's what's there, what's not there, and then we also have all of the addresses now that are in the system, in the ordinance, in the system. So that
So would that
Rule balance.
list on the ordinance on the website, would that be updated anytime soon? Or,
First, let me go back to all of the signs. The code book says they're there and they're not there. Just, I think it was last year that Selena Diaz did a massive update on it. She went to every door, every house that had a sign listed.
Correct.
And now, if you remember, we have like a page and a half of deletions. As far as that will only get changed.
who does the
Code-
changes on the?
On their website, that's done by Coded Systems.
yes.
They update the code book. So
Yeah.
it's only done periodically.
Okay.
So just because
Like
it's there
how often?
electronically,
Yeah, if there's ever a question, you should check with our office, because
yes.
actually that's not really that accurate, because it's only done periodically by Coded Systems. They don't do it every time. They get an ordinance. They don't go and update the book, so.
I've seen
Yeah.
six plus months it can
Yeah.
go before an ordinance is changed here by your action and not make it to the
Yeah.
ordinance. I apologize. I thought you were saying that it was confirmed that it was in the city ordinance by the clerk's office. But if you're going on what's online, yes, absolutely, that is tremendously behind. And that's not any of us in this room's
No,
issue.
no.
But yes, that could be, which may be what 465 Penn is, I don't know, but I'll look. And it could be if taken by your actions months ago that it came out, it's just still showing there.
Okay,
That could be.
all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Good? Okay. Number 4, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend an ordinance entitled Council Rules of Procedure, ordinance number 5-72 as amended, adopted September 19, 1972, also known as Chapter A-436, Seek of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy. And this is about addressing the council.
Council President? if I
Yes.
may. Number 5 should not be on the agenda. It was already adopted by the council. I mistakenly included it in a batch of documents I sent for this agenda. I
Okay,
don't know how I did it, but I did it. But,
So number 5 shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't be there yet. It's
Okay.
already been approved by the council, so
Okay.
that could be it.
Somehow I remember that.
So number 6 would be number 5.
Right.
Okay. So number 6, ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, approving certain amendments to the Focus 2020 redevelopment plan, Area 3, Northern Industrial, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law. That will be number 6 now. An ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend and supplement Chapter 335 Property Maintenance of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy to include additional regulation related to relocation assistance for tenants displaced due to illegal occupancy, eligibility, amount, and landlord liability. And I think we have an extra one? Is that, that's a resolution. Okay. Okay, resolution R-295-725, directing the city tax collector to place a lien on 119 Madison Avenue, Block 18, lots 25 and 26.02, in the amount of $358.45 for charges incurred by the Department of Public Works to remedy public nuisance. R-296-725, authorizing change order number 1 to the contract with Hudson County Motors for a Western Star 47 times, in accordance with TIPS Co-op Contract Number 230802 in an amount not to exceed $10,132. R-297-725, rescinding in its entirety R-598-1123, authorizing a contract with Matson and Howell, Inc. for the purchase of toter dump top litter containers. R2, R298-725, authorizing the continual representation of the city by the law offices of Nolan and Lang in the matter of global landfill versus City of Perth Amboy in the amount not to exceed $25,000. R299-725, authorizing acceptance of a grant from the County of Middlesex for Middlesex County Swimming Lessons Pilot Program in the amount of $16,000. R300-725, accepting and adopting the City of Perth Amboy Downtown Business Market Analysis Report. R301-725, authorizing an application and agreement with the New Jersey Department of Law and Public. There's a typo there. Safety for the 2025 Dry Sober or Get Pool statewide Labor Day Crackdown Grant.
Nice.
R302-725, accepting the bid and authorizing a contract with the McCullough Construction Company for building addition and renovation Veterans Memorial Youth League Fieldhouse at Willow Pond in an amount not to exceed the sum of $3,344,640. R303-725, accepting the bid and authorizing a contract with Turco Golf, Inc. for Veteran Memorial Youth League Complex improvement in an amount not to exceed $7,455,188.17. R304-725, authorizing accumulated leave payout for Benjamin Velez in the amount of $7,780.68 based on his retirement on July 1st, 2025. R305-725, authorizing accumulated leave payout for Jorge Irizarry in the amount of $16,264.59 based on his retirement on July 1st, 2025. R306-725, authorizing the insertion of revenue in the calendar year 2025 budget pursuant to NJSA 40A, column 4-87, chapter 159, PL 1948 for the Home ARP grant in an additional amount of $1,666. R307-725, authorizing the insertion of revenue in the calendar year 2025 budget pursuant to NJSA 40A 4-87, Chapter 159 PL 1948 for national opioid settlement in an additional amount of $41,522.30. There's a comma, I think it's $52.36. R308-725, authorizing refund of water sewer subsequent overpayment in the amount of $145.26 to ProCap 8 FBO First Trust Bank. R309-725, reimbursement Graymore NJ LLC $90.77 for the cancellation of tax sale certificate number 24-00267 on Block 281, Lot 23, 515 Brace Avenue. R310-725, memorializing the extension of the grace period to August 25, 2025 for August 1st, 2025 tax quarter. R311-725, authorizing the place-to-place transfer of plenary retail consumption license number 1216-33-7 006-008, held in the name of El Tiro de Balilo Steakhouse and Grill at 519 State Street to include portion of the parking lot as part of the licensed premises. Then we have an additional resolution that will be R312.
Yes.
725. Resolution of the City of Perth Amboy, Middlesex County, New Jersey, authorizing a settlement and installment payment agreement with Wang and Zhu LLC in connection with the property located at 940 State Street and designated on the tax map on the City of Perth Amboy as Block 427, Lot 5. Communications, closed session resolution, R294. Are we going to have a discussion about that this resolution, or?
We can, and also, there's a contract issue that just arose earlier this week that we need to
Okay,
discuss.
so that will be R94, authorizing a closed session at the July 9, 2025 council meeting to discuss the item that Mr. Oppo just.
It was contract negotiations, Council
Contract
President. What was the other item? Both under, okay.
I need a motion.
Move.
Second,
Oh, go ahead.
Councilwoman Cruz?
yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Public portion, 5 minutes maximum per speaker. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Against? Okay, it's open to the public.
Ken Bell, 359 Brook Avenue. That's amazing, $11 million for the youth contract. Did anybody see a presentation or chart or what's gonna be done or anything else like that? The public gonna see, you're spending $11 million for the youth complex and no presentation. Pretty good. When did you get the check from Kushner for the land use products, the $5 million you're supposed to give us? Does anybody know? Did we get it yet? The $5 million check? We're looking, staring at me like deer in headlights. You don't know we got a $5 million check?
We haven't.
All right. How much did the school budget go up? Do we have a percentage how much the school budget went up? 'Cause I know we extending the tax day would come, so the budget probably not coming out yet, or the tax bills are coming out late. So how much did the school budget go up? Does anybody know? There's another one. Jesus Christ. It's like deer in headlights. Nobody knows anything. So you're not going to tell the public how much the school budget went up? Is it a number? This is sad. This is truly, truly sad. Mary sat here and said transparency. This ain't transparency. This is a joke. I can tell you a number. Or you don't even know what a $5 million check came into the city from Kushner. $5 million. Nobody knows. Nobody knows nothing. Sad. Really is. Now we had a 5-year-old, I believe, shot. Now, rumors has it, because nobody talks about it, was it gang related? There's another thing. You're not going to talk about it. You're going to do nothing. Because we have no gangs in Perth Amboy. We have nothing. We have no crime. We have nothing, you know. So that's the problem around here. We don't get any stories. And you don't have a problem on Smith Street. You know what your problem is? Everybody thinks this town is riddled with crime. Those two ladies came up here and talked about Red Bank. Red Bank's a totally different world compared to Perth Amboy. I know, I drive through it all the time, coming home from work. It's a way different area and a business area compared to what Perth Amboy is. But we have an image problem because of people like this. You don't even have an answer for anybody. You got a lawyer that sits there and doesn't do anything. Now we got a business minister that's not going to talk. So what you have is see no evil, know nothing. You have an image problem. You have a crime problem because you don't sit there and say anything. These other towns, when they had cars being stolen, came out with public announcements and saying this stuff was happening. Nothing happens here. You don't want to talk about anything. He tries to take me out the back door over here to talk to me out there because you won't even tell me how much the budget went up. You won't even say how much the budget went up. Silence. Deer in headlights. I guess that's the new thing. The Democrats and the Congress and everything can go out and picket and scream and holler and everything else like this, but you Democrats sit there and do absolutely nothing. We got Lopez and Coughlin who's running, and what's the issues? That they gave Kushner money? Or they got a business? I mean, come on. This is really, really sad. Really, really sad how this is turned in to see no evil. We don't talk. We don't do anything. He's going to sit there with no face. He sits there looking back, reading on his computer. The public should know how much the taxes are going to go up. They should know the percentage are out. You said 5.5. I had to force you to get the 5.5 out. What did the school budget go up? If you don't know that, you have a business administrator, she has to put out the taxes. It's not rocket science here. Really not rocket science to put out information for the public. It really, really is sad. He's getting $150,000. He's getting $18,000 a month, almost $250,000. His law firm's probably getting the total of $300,000. And nobody talks. Nobody talks. I got 33 seconds left. What's going to be, you're not talking, so. Number 40 ordinance addressing the council. I'm sure that's something to do with me. What's that about? Did you talk about that?
We'll answer your question when you finish.
Well, did you say that? Okay, I'll give you 15 seconds. Go ahead.
You're done?
I'm done.
Okay. The one with the addressing the council, we're dropping it to 3 minutes.
See?
Okay?
Hey, that's
And-
the whole joke around it. You don't even talk or answer any questions, and you got a big smile because you're dropping it 3 minutes. You guys come in for one
Okay, I
day-
thought you were done.
I am done with
Okay,
but I'm
thank
still
you.
listening here and
Thank you.
You don't answer any
Thank you.
questions.
Adele Tolfik, 341 Colfax Street. So back to ordinance 425, back when it was first passed, April of last year, 15 months ago. I had concern about the language, about the credit card and the electronic payments. Came up here, I asked about it. 4 out of the 5 agreed that electronic payment could be optional. It was not done so in the contract. I spoke to Mr. Opal, it's supposed to have been changed. Here we are 15 months later, still the same. Nothing has been changed, so I'm asking if it could be added on as an option that we take electronic payments and not mandatory and credit card payments. Change the word from and to or, and it'll make life so much simpler. As far as moving forward with the next on-call, my last on-call rotation, the company before me were not able to perform a job. The lieutenant who's in charge of traffic split the day in half. He said the previous company will get the 12 hours, the next company will get 12 hours, contradicting the ordinance that says it will move to the next available on-call, which Chief Catano just also applied. That's in the ordinance. I thought it was wrong. I wrote up the lieutenant to Internal Affairs. Internal Affairs reached to Mr. Opal. Mr. Opal confirmed that the police department have the discretion to do whatever they want. Kind of disagree with that, only because there's an order in place. It's the law. You guys are the law administrators. Just like the tow companies have to abide by the ordinance, I think the police department has to do the same also. And if he's not educated on it, maybe he shouldn't be in that position, or maybe he should be educated on it. And it seems like nobody knows what's going on. Everybody kicks it to the next person, under him, on top of him, and there's no confident answer with the police station. There is no procedure when it comes down to towing, and for towing in the police department. There's nothing there. There's no set rules. It's whatever the ordinance has. The police department itself has nothing. I'm not sure whatever happened to the meetings that we used to have annually between all the towing companies and City Hall with the business administrator, mayor, at least 2 council people. We used to have those meetings to address some concerns, and that hasn't happened in years. So I would like that to be put back in place again. As I mentioned in the past, also, there should be some type of standards for towing companies that are operating under the police direction. There should be mandated equipment, only for the safety of the police officer as well for the efficiency. There's some companies that respond hours an hour, and it goes overlooked depending who the company is. I think everybody should be treated equally, fairly across the board, and there should be minimum standards. I really, really would like to have those meetings back together. If you guys could somehow put it back in place. I know you're new here, and you're probably not very well aware of that situation in the past, but we used to have, twice a year, we used to have meetings, and with different types of businesses, not just towing, but it'll be one for the bars and restaurants, one for towing, one for body shops, mechanic shops, whatever the case may be. So that's something I would like to see back in place, because we have concerns, and it's just not fair that we come here and we use what's going to be 3 minutes to dish out our problems over 3 minutes and expect the world to resolve the problems right away. At least it will give us more time to discuss and come up with a common denominator. And it's just to shed a little bit of light on that Sunday issue. So most companies now do release cars on Sundays with no problem. The only thing is we kind of work with the people, the owner of the cars, as far as the timing is concerned. Most Sundays, we have families too, and we go to churches, we go grocery shopping, do something with our kids. So when somebody calls for a car on Sunday, like, oh, listen, we close today, but I can meet you at X time to pick up the car. And that's how we coordinate and we work it out. As far as the extra day storage, it's 12 hours free. So most likely when the car gets towed, by the time they get it back, that day is not gonna count anyhow. So that's something to think about, but I really would like to see that little word change for the credit card down to electronic payment from and to or. Just a very simple word, that way we protect it. A lot of times when the people leave with the credit card, they do what's called the chargeback, and it becomes our problem. Police department kicks it back to us. They say it's a civil matter. I had people that broke into my yard, broke my fence, stole their cars, right out of my yard. You know what happened to them? Nothing, zero, nothing. Civil matter, that's what they tell me. Crime being committed, that's not a civil matter. That's it, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, one question on the matter that he's speaking about, splitting the day. How does that happen? I mean, I'm sorry. Let me get the answer from the chief on that before you. You can wait right there. It's just.
I'm not familiar with what's being spoke of, but the gentleman mentioned something about the internal affairs process, so if he initiated the internal affairs process, I can't speak about it anyway.
Okay,
But I don't know about it.
okay. Thank you.
Okay?
And then I have, oh, sorry. Does anybody
If
else
in
have
fact he
this
did
question?
initiate the internal affairs process, then it'll go through that process, and then the complainant will be notified by the appropriate authorities as to what occurred and what happened and so forth. But I'm not familiar with what he's speaking of.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a quick comment on the electronic payment. I know that's one thing that most of us did agree on as well, just changing that language to and or, just like mechanic shops do and other services.
And, I'm sorry, and when would that be changed? Because I remember being here, speaking about that a while back.
Okay, that will,
Okay.
go ahead.
Good evening, members of the council. So I'm here because on June 14th.
Can I have your name and address?
My name is
please?
Ruben, my address is Elizabeth.
Okay.
I lived in Perth Amboy for about 21 years.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm here because there was a protest on June 14th, Flag Day, in front of the high school, the new high school, which is next to the baseball field next to Wendy's. And the protest was about, it was called No Kings, or No Kings Day. Because as we know, the Trump presidency right now is trying to consolidate power, and now through the Supreme Court as well. And that's affecting the country and the people in this country in many ways. And that's why I decided to attend that protest, to show that people in this country will not allow that to happen, not allow Trump to have so much power to the extent that he's, rounding up people without due process, among other issues. So I attended that protest along with a few other people. that protest was completely peaceful. I mean, we were actually just standing on the sidewalk. We didn't actually do any form of disruption or anything. It was just standing on the sidewalk, chanting, things like that. And then after I left the protest, me along with two other protesters, we were simply going back to the car in order to go back home. And then we noticed this police drone literally come out from the horizon, and it literally flew over us and was literally hovering over us very close, almost in an intimidating manner. So I mean, overall, I felt like it was in a way shilling protest. And the thing is, we weren't even protesting. The protest was already over. We're going home inside our car. This drone was literally hovering over us and waiting until we actually got inside the car and left. It was there for a good, I would say 10 or more 15 minutes. We were literally waiting to see what that drone was doing. I mean, why was it, I mean, my question is, why was it literally over us the entire time, even though we already left the protest, we were ready to go home? Another question is, how come I see this drone, a quadcopter drone, by the way? I saw it many times last month, fly over Smith Street almost every 2 hours. So my question is, why is this quadcopter drone, flying over Smith Street so frequently? From the Perth Amboy Police Department, by the way, and also why specifically was it surveilling three of us who left the protest, so we're no longer protesting, just going in our car? Why was it literally hovering us the entire time? And I also want to remind everybody, including the council, that Perth Amboy is a historic city. And one of the reasons it's historic is we're actually the first city in the entire country to ratify the Bill of Rights over 230 years ago. And including in those Bill of Rights is the First Amendment and the Fourth Amendment. The First Amendment guarantees and allows us to peacefully assemble in order to address grievances. And the Fourth Amendment allows us to have privacy and be secure from government surveillance and unlawful intrusions of our privacies without, actual probable cause or a warrant. So again, I just want an explanation why this quadcopter drone was literally over us, along with two other people who had simply attended a peaceful protest, who, by the way, is protesting against Trump, which I'm sure is very much against the interests of the people in this town, along with people around the entire country, honestly. Anybody who doesn't make a certain amount of money really is a target of Trump right now. So again, that's my question. If I could get an explanation why this drone was literally surveilling us directly. We're leaving the protest. We're no longer in a protest. And also, why was it hovering last month and a few months before that, flying over Smith Street, next to the library, next to that area, over and over again, almost every 2 hours? Literally every time I walk through Smith Street, I see this quadcopter drone fly over Smith Street over and over again. So I simply want an explanation why that's happening. That is all.
Thank you. Chief, do you have an answer for that? Or?
I have no way of knowing whether or not that was one of our drones or not. As you know, New Jersey's been home to quite a number of drones and so forth. They do respond to emergencies throughout the city, the drone, so it could have been going to other calls and so forth. That particular day, I'm not sure. I will speak to the gentleman on the side, and if he has any formal complaint, then I will put it through the internal affairs process, and we'll go through if he has any concerns that any police officer of any wrongdoing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Vince Macchio, I live at 215 Sheridan Street. Council, I'd like to just address the rent control issues within the city. I know you have a ordinance number 7 that deals with relocation assistance for those who are in illegal occupancy, charging the landlord. That's a larger issue within the city of Perth Amboy. But I think also you should acknowledge that there are 17,000, and much of those people are in rental units, and much of those people actually, although there's a city ordinance to have them registered, it's really not something that functions. If you were to charge between $10 and $20, less than a trip to Newark Airport, you would have several $100,000, so you wouldn't have to worry about having enough legal representation for a tenant or a landlord's representation before our board. I think that's just a simple fact. Whether you want to accept it or not, I know you have a difficult time, but that simply is the facts. I also would like to represent, as a board member, that the public is allowed to go to every single meeting that we have. We have a special meeting on the 21st of this month dealing with a hardship issue where 10 tenants are having to represent themselves through legal representation. That's just the facts. So if you want to come beyond your, the idea that there is a hearing, you can also make a statement during the public portion. Also, we have a meeting on August 4th. That's a regular meeting on August 4th. The public has a part, they can present themselves through for any reason whatsoever dealing with tenant-landlord issues. I need to reinforce that fact because at one point in the history, and I've been a board member for 5 years, it was represented that we did not have a board. How ludicrous that fact is. And that's why I have to stand before you tonight, and I'll get within, I know you have an ordinance, I oppose the 3-minute limit, because being here for many, many meetings, and I understand you have large meetings where you need to complete meetings within a reasonable time frame. I know you have a difficult time with that. But normal meetings, there might be 5 to 10 people. Why you have to lower the meetings to 3 minutes doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I totally oppose that. I don't think, if you want to lower it to 4 minutes, but you shouldn't lower it at all. And the last statement that I have tonight, here are 2 forms, and I think as a tenant or a landlord, you have an opportunity to go before our board if you have legitimate issues with larger rents, or you have a real hardship and you want to present capital improvements, you can come before the Rent Leveling Board. It's an active board. And so again, Council President, respectfully, I'd like to present the tenant complaint form in English and Spanish. Here they are.
Thank you.
And it's open to you as residents, as tenants, or landlords.
Thanks. Anybody else?
I just wanted to follow up on a couple things. With respect to 465 Penn, I have an email from Mrs. DiNardo back in May that was on the agenda, going to be on the following agenda for the person passed away. So that was the removal purpose for that. So that was the time frame we're talking about, was May when that went
This
through.
year?
Yes,
May?
this year, yes.
But, so the person passed away
Yes.
and it was removed by whom? Like,
Again, I don't have any of that particular information, but you had asked when that may have happened, so that was probably the time frame that was from Mrs. DiNardo, that was sent a request for removal because of the woman who had the spot passed away.
right, but I'm under the understanding that it still has to come in front of the council to delete it, to,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
for
what I'm
us
saying,
to
that-
approve it, to get it deleted before it's removed.
That was for May. Yes, that was, I said, Mrs. DiNardo, it was given to her, and she had done the ordinance and so forth for that in May. So that's when it was done. I don't know why it wasn't taken out of the electronic part, but that does take a little while.
Yeah,
to
but
do
it's
that.
coming up in our, for us to approve it now.
The
We're in
460
July.
465 Penn
Yes. The deletion is on the ordinance for,
for today, that's
that's the one that we have now.
Right.
Okay.
So it was already removed
Right.
back in May.
Oh, I don't know when it was removed. That
I
don't know.
mean, we're assuming that it was after the
Between
person
now and-
passed away.
Yeah, I have no idea when it was removed, but that's what the, it went back in May was when it was supposed to be on the agenda.
Okay, so
Okay,
it
thank you.
shouldn't have been removed until we voted on it. We approved it.
Again, I don't know. It could very well have been removed by the people, which happens, as I mentioned, multiple times. That has happened. People who move into the house or people who live there, remove it themselves. So I have no idea. You're telling me it was removed. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't been told it's been removed by any of my people or what have you. I searched the emails. I don't see anything for that. So I'm not sure when and who it was removed by, if it is in fact not there now.
Thank you.
Okay?
So I will address that, but one other thing, can we please refrain from using employees' names?
I used an employee's name. I'm sorry.
We'll discuss it later, yes. Just refrain from using current employees' names.
Okay, I didn't know that I did. I'm sorry. Okay. Reference to the shooting incident that was just mentioned, an unfortunate incident. As you are well aware, it is controlled by the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. There's only so much that we can put out once they're involved. There was a press release that came out that was proliferated through the community and so forth. And one of the most important things I think to reiterate there is the fact that through the investigation, we have no reason to believe that there's any danger to the public from this particular incident. Okay, so again, I can't go any further into it than that. It's still an ongoing criminal investigation, but that was released and that was out there. So I think that that's important that everybody understand that part of it. And we gave everything we could out as soon as we were able to. It went out, the
Any
information.
update on the 5-year-old, how she's doing?
Stable is what I'm told. Yes,
Okay.
at the trauma center. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. On another note, I know animal control comes up a lot, that topic. I believe it was copied to all on the council, but so everyone knows. Recently, we received the designation of no-kill shelter from the Best Friends Animal Shelter. That's not something that I recall that we've ever had before. And that's well over 98% of no-kill shelter. And it's a nationally recognized organization, so they gave us a nice plaque and a letter to show that. So I think that's an important part that everyone understand that we're still out there and we're actively working with the animals and doing everything we can to be able and keep it as a no-kill shelter. So, and as far as information about telling people what's going on, and I know the gentleman mentioned about vehicles broken into and so forth. If you're tuned into the social media as well as the TVs downstairs and so forth that's out there, there's multiple social media releases that have been out there about different types of things. July is Secure Your Vehicle Month. Another one just came out this morning, also talking about safety, talking about loud noise, talking about fireworks safety beforehand. All of that has been out on social media and so forth to the public. And I can report to that. Obviously, we increased this year the amount of patrols out there and visibility. So just in 2 days alone, the one day we were 60% decrease over last year in calls for fireworks. And the following day after that was a 20% decrease. So again, I believe that has a lot to do with the visibility that's out there, the officers that were out there enforcing that, and people seeing it to not do that. But that was calls for service specifically for fireworks down that much, 60% one day and 20% another day. So
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Oh,
Chief,
I'm
just
sorry.
sorry. The quads that were being used during the July 2nd fireworks, there were quads and also motorbikes. Are they being used now in the city by the police officers to patrol any specific area, or are they just not being used? Were they just only used during that day for the fireworks? Because I thought that was a great idea. I think we should definitely have those out more so that we have visibility of police officers out there.
Absolutely. The quads were out of service for quite some time. We had them done over the winter time. We had 4 of them. We have a total of 5. We had 4 of them rebuilt, if you will, motors and everything else, and they're running quite well. We are actually in the process of training additional personnel, primarily our Special 1 officers. Almost all of them are trained in that, and additional police officers who were specials before, they used to run them, are also receiving training in them. They're not something you can just hop on and go, because you can get injured and so forth. So we have to ensure they have the proper safety training and so forth. But yes, they are out there. They're deployed on the weekends, as well as a UTV we have, which is the side-by-side or the sit-down one with the 4 wheels. That's been out the last couple of years, but that's also employed on the weekends. But the ATVs are invaluable. We use them a lot through the areas down on the tracks, as well as the sand and getting around traffic and so forth.
Right, and the bikes too, because I thought when I saw them on July 2nd, the day, I was like, that's great to see that around. And when I'm usually sometimes just driving around town and I don't see, it's a lot of visibility, and I think that would be great addition to see more police visibility out, like Smith Street or down the waterfront, especially in the summer, we have all these people on mopeds and bicycles, kids, you know, running around with the bicycles, and I think that's a great way, aside also maybe from, you know, officers being on foot, so we can have more visibility.
Yes, absolutely. In addition to that, UEZ has provided some funding for us for some things. You may notice a couple of new, actually 4 new police vehicles that came out, the Chargers. Those are funded by the UEZ, and they are specific UEZ patrol. So you'll see them quite regularly on Smith Street. I've had a lot of business owners, a lot of people come up to me and tell me how much they've seen officers out there. They've actually walking the streets and so forth, and that UEZ allows them to concentrate directly on that. Versus when they're in a patrol area, they got to be kind of close to the car, because now if they get a call, they have to run back, get in the car and go. These officers are specifically designed to do that. They will back up any other officers or respond to any of the emergencies necessary, but their primary function is that area, is the UEZ area, and that's increased a lot. Along with that, purchase was also for an additional 4 bicycles to be the e-bikes. So legal e-bikes with, you know, with the right batteries and so forth in them, yes.
Right.
So we're purchasing 4 of them. We should have had them already. The manufacturer that we went to had a couple of issues and so forth, so we had to go back out to find additional quotes for them. They should be in within the next couple of weeks, but that'll be something that also the officers will be out there too, is on the electric bicycles and so forth in those areas, as well as the regular
Yeah, I think
bicycles.
those e-bikes are great, for especially down the waterfront. Like, I frequent the waterfront a lot, just sitting there when eating, you know, go to the ice cream store and just sitting there, and it's like, I don't see any police visibility, you know, rarely. So, I mean, I think that would be a great addition, like,
Yes,
to have, you know,
absolutely.
those e-bikes.
Understand that the 4 wheels, we don't like to put them out in the rain because of safety issues, so they may not be out there. The side-by-side may be out there, but the ATVs, the 4-wheelers generally are not out in the rain. But other than that, yes, we have them out there for the, you know, for the weekend. And what we also have, as you notice, we've implemented the cruise lights, where you'll see a lot of the police cars that are driving around with the solid lights on.
Yes, I've seen them.
Exactly, to catch the attention, because, you know, many times they go by in the cars, they look the same, so it doesn't catch the eye. Now the light catches the eye. Oh yeah, I did see that police car. It may have gone by you 3 times, you weren't involved, you didn't see it, but now that's something and it's just letting everyone know that, you know, that we're there.
Okay.
Not all the officers, because we don't want to give around everybody, we want,
Right.
you know, but, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to make a comment. I think the first resident who came to the mic mentioned that the presentation that we had, we were being compared to Red Bank. I don't think that was the intention. It just mentioned that she had worked, or the company had worked with Red Bank. I think this was designed and presented about Perth Amboy, not comparing us to Red Bank. So I just want to make that clarification for the public, that it's not that we're being compared to, because that wouldn't be a fair comparison. And I don't think she did.
And, Madam President?
Oh, well, hold on. Okay,
sorry.
is anybody else? Seeing none, I need a motion to close public portion.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, I need a motion to go to closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, we'll be going to, I'm sorry. You have a
It's
mention?
fine. I'll
Okay,
just
go
say
ahead.
it in executive
No,
session.
go ahead.
No,
If you have some.
Well, that same resident also had stated that we're spending all this money on the youth complex. There wasn't a presentation. If residents came to all of our meetings, you would notice that a while back, there was a presentation on the plan for the youth complex. So I just wanted to clarify on that as well. And I don't know if this is the appropriate time or not to ask if maybe prior to the open session, we can maybe read the rules of engagement, maybe for the next few meetings, because I don't think all residents understand the rules of engagement. It's not that they ask a question and we're supposed to respond instantly, which is why the whole deer with a,
Deer with a headlight?
yeah, that comment that resident continues to make, it's unfair, because those are not the rules of engagement. So I ask, I don't know if this is the appropriate time, if there's maybe for new residents that are popping in, or maybe he doesn't know the rules of engagement, so that maybe we can read that rule of engagement prior to opening that session, so that there's an understanding of how this works.
Okay.
I don't know if you're all in agreement with that, but I think that would be a great idea. Just, Councilwoman, just so you know, they are attached to the agendas for the
I know.
public to read.
But maybe we can read it out loud, because maybe certain individuals aren't looking at the agenda. So I request that maybe we could read it out loud for them.
Okay. So after the closed session, we'll be back, we'll adjourn this meeting, and then we'll come back for the city council meeting. Thank you. I need a motion to return from closed session.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? I need a motion to adjourn the caucus meeting.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, so right now we're going to start the council meeting. This is the council meeting for July 9th, 2025. Presiding officer of the council, Milady Tejeda, wishes to advise the audience that notice of this meeting has been filed with the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and posted on the bulletin board in the city clerk's office and on the city's website, indicating that today's meeting is being held in the council chambers, City Hall, 260 High Street, right after the caucus and closed session. Council President Tejeda, as a courtesy of the governing body, I will ask all individuals present, including members of the audience, to please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices. Should you need to make a telephone call, please go out into the hallway and speak in a low voice so as not to disturb the ongoing meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Present.
Councilwoman Morales?
Present.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Present.
Councilman Puccio?
Present.
Council President Tejeda?
Present. Let's stand for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Let's pray for all our troops, wherever they are, abroad or in our nation. Also, please, God, protect our residents, guide them on the safety way that is possible for them to continue with their life. Also, I pray for our students who are now on vacation to enjoy their time and their family, and protect and guide us to provide the citizen with the best projects and the best things that we can provide for the city to grow and continue to grow for the benefits of all our residents. And with that, I say amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at the caucus, we had a presentation for the Perth Amboy Downtown Business Market Analysis. Ordinance, public hearing, 5 minutes maximum per speakers per ordinance. Number one, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled Fire Prevention, ordinance number 15676-2011 as amended, adopted September 14, 2011, also known as Chapter 227C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anybody to speak on this ordinance? Seeing none, I need a motion to close public hearing.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? I need a motion to adopt.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Agenda, public comment. Citizen may address the council on any matter on the agenda only which does not have its own scheduled public hearing. Citizens shall be permitted to speak once for a maximum of 5 minutes. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, it's open on agenda item only.
Vince Macula, 215 Sheraton, the ordinance that you're approving some relief for tenants that are displaced based on illegal housing. I think you have to not only do this, but you need to consider the difficulties people are having amongst modest incomes or lower within this city, and take further regulations Make those important as you go ahead this year and in the future, because simply dealing with a rather traumatic and evident issue within Perth Amboy is one thing, but you have longtime tenants, longtime residents of this city who are just having to struggle with the current situation. They could be removed from Medicaid. They could find real hardship as seniors with Medicare. And with, I just heard, and I hope it's not a real situation, a young child says, "Mommy, today, as I made my way on Smith Street, I feel hungry." Hopefully that is not an indication of really what Perth Amboy is going to be, because I see Perth Amboy as a caring, progressive city continuing to care about people.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Seeing none, I need a motion to close public portion.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Bids. Bids were received on April 22nd, 2025 for the following: Veterans Memorial Youth League Complex, Field House renovation, Macaulay Construction Company, $3,344,640. Bids were received on April 22nd, 2025 for the following: Veterans Memorial Youth League Complex Improvement, Great Construction, base bid, $6,132,090 with 35 cents. Alt 1, $1,374,917. Alt 2, $125,219 with 28 cents, with a total of $7,632,226 with 63 cents. Flanagan's Contracting Group, Inc., base bid, $7,515,656 with 25 cents. Alt 1, $1,291,329. Alt 2, $93,240 with a total of $8,900,225 with 25 cents. Landtech Construction LLC base bid, $8,464,355 with 50 cents. Alt 1, $1,274,585. Alt 2, $100,682 with 50 cents, with a total of $9,839,623. Verino and Sons, Inc., base bid, $6,992,735. Alt 1, $1,274,750. Alt 2, $9,000, with a total of $8,357,485. Turco Golf, Inc., base bid, $6,168,045 with 17 cents. Alt 1, $1,287,143. Alt 2, $40,945 with 71 cents, with a total of $7,496,133 with 88 cents. Applied Landscape Technologies, base bid, $8,711,713 with 83 cents. Alt 1, $1,395,229. Alt 2, $114,370 with a total of $10,221,312 with 83 cents. We received a report from Jill A. Goldie, CFO Controller, submitted the following: investment report for the month of May 2025. Revenue and appropriation status report as of May 2025. Current fund, water, wastewater utility, parking utility, harborside marina utility. Ordinance, first reading, no public discussion. Number one, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy to amend an ordinance designated restricted parking spaces for use by handicapped persons, ordinance number 380-85, an amendment adopted July 2nd, 1985, also known as Chapter 255C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy, and this is about addition and deletion. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
So how are we gonna do this?
He's supposed to provide it. This is only the first reading.
Okay.
So before the second reading, we'll get the information and we determine what to do with it.
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number two, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend an ordinance entitled Records, Ordinance Number 621-93, adopted August 4th, 1992, also known as Chapter 425C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy. I need a motion.
Move.
I need a second.
Before we do that,
Uh-huh.
I would just, there was some discussion about changing the
Okay,
existing
changing
language.
the
from
language.
12 PM or noon, whatever the council's preference is, to 5 PM. So before,
And also
To be
to make it,
available.
to be available.
so remove the word open and make it available.
Uh-huh.
So with those,
So
With
that they-
those changes,
you'll move.
I need a,
Right,
I
so
need a
that doesn't
motion.
mean that they have to be there
In the
from 12 to
office.
5, that they have to just be
Available.
Response,
on call.
response,
And
the call.
also, are we changing it to 12 PM or noon as he had suggested?
Let's put noon so it doesn't make any.
Okay.
Okay, so I need a motion again with all those changes.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number three, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend an ordinance entitled Stormwater Management, Ordinance Number 1970-2021, adopted April 28, 2021, also known as Chapter 384C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy. And this is in reference to stormwater control for non-major developments. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number four, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend an ordinance entitled Council Rules of Procedure, Ordinance Number 5-72, as amended, adopted September 19, 1972, also known as Chapter 8-436C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy, and this is addressing the council. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Ordinance number 5 was removed at the caucus because it was already approved previous meeting. So number 6 becomes number 5, which is ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, approving certain amendments to the Focus 2020 Redevelopment Plan Area 3 Northern Industrial pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 6, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend and supplement Chapter 335, Property Maintenance of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy to include additional regulation related to the relocation assistance for tenant displaced due to illegal occupancy, eligibility, amount, and landlord liability. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Look through the resolution and remember there's an addendum, 312. So if you want to pull something to be done separate.
No.
Yeah, I'm good.
Everybody's good? So the consent agenda will be Resolution R 295-725 through R 312-725. I need a motion for the consent agenda.
312 separate.
Okay, so,
Oh, I didn't hear.
With the exception of 312.
Yeah, exception, that's right.
okay,
Oh, okay.
all right.
Go to 311 then.
311. So R 295-725 through 311-725 is the consent agenda. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. I need a motion for R 312-725, the Aran.
Move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peralta?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Okay, we had some communications and public portion. I need a motion to open to the public for any concern or any matter.
Move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? You're in sync tonight.
We are.
Seeing none, I need a motion to close public portion.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, council comments, Councilwoman Cruz?
Thank you, everyone who made it today. I hope that you have an amazing summer. And as always, please look on our city's websites for our events and our flag raising, as well as the concerts by the Bay, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Councilwoman Morales?
Good evening. Thank you for everyone that was here. Just want to say, prayers to those that are affected and those who had died in Texas with the flooding over there. Just let's keep them in our prayers. And like Councilwoman said, enjoy the summer activities throughout the city and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Peralta. I forgot your last name for a minute.
It's okay, it's okay. It's been a long night. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that was here. It's been very hot. Stay hydrated. Enjoy all of the festivities and activities that the city has to offer. And I know the summer is here, but I want to encourage the residents to continue to come to our meetings, to continue these conversations appropriately and following correct protocol. Because it is important that we hear your concerns, and we don't know about them unless it gets, to the appropriate people. And so we are here for you. We are here to help. We are here to make our city better however we can. And so, again, I encourage you to continue to come to these meetings and to address the council appropriately. And again, thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Councilman Puccio.
I want to thank my council mates for the fine job that they do. Our VA, who's been doing an outstanding job. Mr. Opal, the city clerk, the chief, everybody for showing up tonight, and I'm good.
Thank you. And I also want to thank you, everyone who participated tonight. We look forward to see you again in August, because this is the only meeting that we're having this month. So enjoy your summer, participate on the activities, and let's continue making Perth Amboy better. It's already good, but we want to make it better. So I'm very proud of my city, so I also want you to feel proud of it. Thank you. Have a good night, and I need a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? Thank you, everyone. Good night.